PXG versus Bastard Munchen, two undefeated teams battling to see who will be the champions of the Neo Egoist League.
Ulak is indeed the most critical place in world football. Jinpachi Ego's NEL tournament has been a massive success, and Japanese football is now leading the way for a new era of world football.
It's time to see who will be the newest superstar of world football.
To start this off, let's take a look at both teams' starting lineup. And at first glance, this looks like the worst Bastard Munchen starting lineup that we have ever seen in the NEL.
Noah has a lot of explaining to do. We have so many questions on why and how the starting lineup was even formed. Let's start with the biggest elephant in the room. Why isn't Isagi playing as a striker? He proved his goal-scoring abilities in the last match against Italy's Ubers. He scored 2 goals, with one of them even being the winning goal.
And even outside of scoring goals, Isagi has still been Bastard Munchen's best offensive player. His build-up has allowed for both Kunigami and Kaiser to score goals as well. At the very least, I feel like Isagi should be positioned as a second striker behind Kaiser and Kunigami.
I agree with that statement. I feel like Isagi has proven his worth as a striker. Based solely on accolades, he should be starting as a striker over Kunigami, who ghosted in that last match against Italy's Ubers. Plus, if Isagi is moved into that second striker position behind Kaiser and Kunigami, then in theory, Hiori can move up and leave the right back position and move into the midfield. In my opinion, Hiori adds a lot more value in the midfield, especially over Ness. When you think about the playmaking abilities, Hiori is definitely leagues above. For example, when Hiori came into that Ubers match, he instantly dismantled the Ubers defense, while Ness was just getting shut down by the Ubers players.
Yeah, that's true. Hiori was arguably the biggest element in that match. He sparked Isagi's evolution and turned Isagi into the game's hero. You could probably even make the argument that without Hiori, Bastard Munchen would not have won that match against Italy's Ubers. His skills would be best utilized as an attacking midfielder. That way he can act as one of the key playmakers for Bastard Munchen.
It's also important to note, Hiori stated that he'll be delivering passes to any striker he sees valuable, meaning he could even send passes to Kunigami or Kaiser besides just Isagi. Hiori's playmaking can further expand Bastard Munchen's attacking options.
In theory, if Hiori moves into the midfield, then maybe Corona could step back into the right back spot. With Corona in the field, Isagi would have another outlet to further expand his goal-scoring capabilities. Plus, imagine Corona, Hiori, and Isagi all in the field. That trio would tear apart almost any defense, and personally, I would just like to see that happen.
That would be great to see, but instead of that, we got this confusing lineup with players like Grimm still starting, which leads us to another one of our biggest questions. How is Grimm still in the starting lineup? Bro does like one pass, and then he goes for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I know we were on a rant about some of the other players and their positions, but this is easily the most confusing choice in the Bastard Munchen starting lineup. Grimm is one of the most useless players from Bastard Munchen, besides doing one pass. The only other thing we have seen him do are some throw-ins and a few Bastard Munchen tactics.
That is true, but a lot of those plays haven't even shined in the recent matches, and it's been more or less just Ness and Kaiser working together. Generally confused on how Grimm has been staying in the starting lineup for all these matches, especially when players like Kurina and Yukimi are currently on the bench.
But before the match, Noah did say he would be making substitutions whenever he saw it was needed. I guess that could mean this formation is susceptible to changing at any moment. We could see other players like Kurina and Yukimiya make another appearance, as well as some new faces like Nero and the Monk. Hopefully one of these players comes in for Grimm, because Bastard Munchen are going to need someone more reliable and useful to go against those PXG players.
Speaking of needing more reliable players, the Bastard Munchen center backs in Brickenstock and Mensa could definitely see a change as well. They haven't done anything major in any of these NEL matches. Players like Kaiser, Isagi, and Raichi have shown way more effective abilities in those 1v1 situations. Since PXG is known to have some fast and tricky players, maybe the former U20 defender Neru could step in and play as a defender in this match. This could be a great time for him to utilize the speed and defensive abilities, and he could prove to be useful against PXG.
Let's not also forget, we have also seen the Monk get more screen time during the build-up of this match. Maybe it's time we see a Monk masterclass. Maybe we will see him play as a defender as well and try to help the team win. The author will probably give him some super crazy plot armor where he will be able to stop some of PXG's attacks by flopping or something.
It'd be crazy to see the Monk come in and actually be useful. Personally, I'd rather not see the Monk play, but with all the hints of him playing during the pre-match build-up, there's a really strong possibility that he's going to come into this match. But that being said, let's take a look at the PXG lineup.
So we predicted actually that PXG would use a new formation against Bastard Munchen. Regardless, we see that Ren, Shido, and Charles are on the field together. Now, we initially believed it would be impossible for Ren and Shido to play together, but it looks like PXG have committed to the idea of allowing these two to play at the same time. This idea could lead to something special or create further chaos on the field.
The idea of using two strikers in Ren and Shido who have proven to never get along is insane. But that being said, we believe this could work because Charles is the real heart of the PXG team. Without Charles, this idea of having Ren and Shido on the same field could never work. He can freely adapt to both of these players and their play styles. And in theory, PXG can alternate between Ren, Shido, through Charles.
It's been clear since that FC Barcha match that he's a dangerous playmaker and he's able to understand and of that to any striker. At this moment, it seems like Charles will be the most important matchup in the PXG versus Bastard Munchen match. He is going to be the key factor in PXG's attack, so finding a way to shut him down will be the key to making PXG fall apart.
Charles, Rin, and Shido are definitely the biggest threats in PXG, but we can't forget about other key players as well. Karasu, Zantetsu, Nanase, Tokimitsu. We saw these players support Shido and Rin during their other matchups, and they could prove to be very effective. They could show up and all work together at different points and provide link up between Charles, and they could allow for a crazy attack, and we could even see these players have an awakening within this match. We can't forget about Choppa. I know he was originally called Choppy, and we thought he was going to be a new Gen 11, but since he still is on the PXG team, he could be a key factor for this match. He did have a lot of hype from the earlier matches, like the one against Italy's Ubers. Maybe he will also be in the mix of all this. We still don't know what this player is truly capable of, but it'll be really interesting to see what he actually does in this match.
And now that we got all that out of the way, I think it's time to discuss what these main matchups are going to look like in this match. And of course, the first one we're going to talk about is Isagi versus Rin.
This is without a doubt the most hyped up matchup in this whole match. PXG and Bastard Munchen are only important because of these two. This is what every Blue Lock fan has been waiting to see. The top two guns duking it out.
That's right, Rin has been gunning for Isagi throughout the entire NEL, and these two will finally meet again on the field. Personally, very excited to see this matchup.
Yeah, we know the NEL has transformed these two into incredible talent. They're desired by top clubs all over the world like Bastard Munchen and PXG. Knowing their development has been insane, it'll be interesting to see how these two go against each other. I'm expecting Rin to have a new level of puppet controlling style. I'm assuming Isagi is going to use every new tool that he has, his lefty shot, metavision.
I wouldn't even be surprised if Rin triggers something with an Isagi and we see another ability come out in this match.
These two have devoured and improved each other so much. We even saw in the U20 match that without these two working together and going against each other on the same team, it would have never evolved. So imagine going against each other the whole time. They're going to force each other to evolve and reach new levels. Be prepared for one of the greatest matchups in Blue Lock.
A lot of time has passed since that second selection matchup, so I'm excited.
Speaking of exciting matchups, we can't forget about the other two strikers of the respective teams. Kaiser and Shido are going to go crazy in this match as well.
I mean, we know this matchup is going to happen. Shido personally called out Kaiser before this match started. This is probably because Kaiser received a bid from the Spanish giants Real. Real is the team Itoshi Sai plays for, and Shido is probably going to focus on shutting down and outshining Kaiser so that he can steal this bid from him and so that he can also play with Itoshi Sai again.
Besides wanting to steal the bid from Kaiser, this is still a matchup between two talented strikers who can do about anything. Both of these players have displayed incredible goals, and both of them have the capabilities to pull out otherworldly plays. We know Kaiser is focused on destroying Isagi, and we know Shido wants to outshine Rin. These two are ultimately going to have to go against each other as well and crush everything in their path. This is definitely going to be one of the most intense and high-level matchups. These two are demons who can do just about anything.
And of course, speaking of Shido, we can't forget the rematch of Shido versus Kunigami.
There's a very high chance that Kunigami is going to have to go against Shido in this match. We can't forget, Shido is the one who defeated Kunigami and Ryo back in the second selection. If it wasn't for Shido destroying Kunigami back then, Kunigami would have never been sent to wildcard and turned into the emo Kunigami. And because of that incident, I think this is going to become fuel for Kunigami's revenge.
It'll be interesting to see if Kunigami returns to his old self, or he will throw away his ego and achieve a blank state like Jinpachi ego intends. Kunigami has been very quiet lately, and it would be nice to see some results from him in this match. He most likely has a vendetta against Shido, and he must be hungry to score a goal after completely ghosting against Italy's Ubers. This match could be Kunigami's last chance to make a real statement.
Seeing Shido could be the catalyst for Kunigami to awaken and become a dominant force in this match. Meanwhile, Shido probably doesn't even care about Kunigami. He's so focused on Kaiser and probably trying to outshine Rin that Kunigami isn't even on his mind at this moment. But maybe this can be used to Kunigami's advantage and he can catch Shido lacking. Who knows, but this match is going to get a lot of recognition, and it has to happen because it's so important for both of their development, especially Kunigami's.
There is also the matchup between Ness and Charles. These two will be an important matchup because the both of them are the engine to their retrospective team. Ness is the key factor to Kaiser's attacking capabilities, while Charles is the key to the whole PXG dynamic.
This will definitely be an important matchup. Charles is the one tying this whole PXG team together, and while Ness on the other hand only has to help Kaiser, Ness does have to step up and prove himself in this match. He had one of his worst performances in the NEL against Italy's Ubers, and he needs to display his value in this match.
Besides trying to assist Kaiser, Ness is going to have to step up defensively and try to shut down Charles. If he can do this, then he can redeem himself from that lackluster performance against Ubers.
Speaking of shutting down Charles, I think Raichi will have a massive role in accomplishing this.
Without a doubt, the matchup between Charles and Raichi will be an important factor. We know that Raichi displayed amazing dueling abilities in the match against Italy's Ubers. He was able to outplay metavision users like Nico at some points, as well as helping Isagi limit Snuffy's options.
Raichi is a beast at defense. He excels at man marking and locking down his opponents. His skills could be vital for the Bastard Munchen team. Maybe Raichi will be a key factor in this match, just like in Italy's Ubers, and he has to lock down Charles so that Ren and Shido can't play to their best abilities. It's also not a reach to say this because Raichi has been shown to be very good at locking down players, especially playmakers, so it's not out of the realm of possibility to see him lock down Charles.
If Raichi can utilize his physicality and dueling abilities against Charles, then Charles is going to have a very tough time in this match. Remember in chapter 246, we saw Loki stating that one of Charles' biggest issues is his lack of experience and his attitude. If things get too tough for Charles, then there is a possibility that we could see him completely fall apart due to Raichi's presence, similar to how we saw Raichi break Reo in the first selection.
That's very true. Where Charles has a very weak attitude, Raichi doesn't give up, and this could prove to be in Raichi's favor, and he could terrorize Charles. This could be a very important matchup, but I think Tokimitsu is going to actually help out Charles a lot in this factor, because Charles cannot handle Raichi on his own.
This could be an interesting matchup to see. Raichi is good for locking down players, but will he be able to lock down a beast like Tokimitsu? We know Tokimitsu's greatest weapon is his physical abilities. He is so strong that not even Baro could outmuscle him.
Tokimitsu in the midfield is going to be a big factor for PXG's success. We know Raichi is no slouch in the gym, but he's going to have his work cut out for him going against Tokimitsu. They're both physical beasts, and Tokimitsu is going to try to take off a lot of that slack off Charles and just let him focus on playmaking. So Tokimitsu is going to be the one mainly going against Raichi, I'm assuming. Like I said, both of them are physical beasts, and it's most likely going to be a back and forth battle between these two. Since they're both playing in the midfield as well, they're going to have to go against each other so many times in this match.
It's going to be interesting to see who will be able to get the upper hand on their opponent. This one could go either way because they are both good at similar roles. It's going to be an intense matchup between these two regardless. But I think we should also talk about Hiori versus Karasu.
This matchup has to happen. There's been a lot of foreshadowing between these two since it became relevant in the third selection. We know both of them were former teammates on the club level before joining Blue Lock, but now these former teammates will be battling against each other.
Besides the foreshadowing, these two are both extremely talented players, and they will be playing crucial roles for their respective team. Karasu is known to be the general of the midfield. He's been playing as a DMF, and he has shown the capabilities of shutting down his opponent's attacks and providing important link-up plays within his own team's offense. Karasu can be seen as the ultimate midfielder who can participate in both offense and defense. He could prove to be a threat for Hiori.
Absolutely, you cannot sleep on Karasu. But on the other hand, since Hiori's used to playing alongside Karasu and he knows his playstyle in and out, this could prove to be a vital factor in outshining Karasu and helping Bastard Munchen win. Remember, Hiori's going to be acting more like an egotistical playmaker like Itoshi Sai. He is willing to play passes to anyone on his team that he deems useful. This means he's not limited to just assisting Isagi. He could even link up with Kunigami or Kaiser. Hiori's meta vision, his playmaking skills, he could prove to be too much for even Karasu.
That's true, but like you said, they have played together before joining Blue Lock, so that could work in Karasu's favor as well. Maybe Karasu can stop Hiori since he is so used to playing with him. It's not guaranteed that their prior knowledge of each other could work for the players, but either way, this matchup is going to be insane.
Without a doubt, these two are amazing players, and they will definitely be battling against each other many times throughout this match. Potentially, they could even awaken more of their sleeping potential, and I can't wait to see this. It's been foreshadowed for so long.
And of course, we have Kiyora versus Zantetsu. This is the most interesting matchup in our opinion because not much is known about Kiyora. We know Noah rates him highly, but we have never seen him play before.
Yeah, during the Ubers match, it was stated that Kiyora possessed a similar playstyle as Kurina, so we can assume that he's very quick and agile, and he's most likely going to play a more assisting role, and he's going to try to help expand Bastard Munchen's attacking options.
We also know Zantetsu is known for his speed, and he will be playing as right winger for PXG. Since Kiyora is positioned as a left back, there's a good chance that Kiyora will have to step up defensively and try to stop Zantetsu a lot in this match. There will definitely be a focus on speed versus speed against these two players. Bastard Munchen will need players that can keep up with Zantetsu and have the capabilities of stopping him from tearing up the flank.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how Kiyora matches up against Zantetsu. We don't know if he stands a chance against Zantetsu's speed, but with all the hype around Kiyora, I'm expecting him to have an amazing performance. He has to be able to do something since he was in the starting lineup and Noah rated him so highly. Even though this matchup is more of an enigma, we don't know too much of what could happen. Don't sleep on this matchup because anything can happen and it might just be a barn burner. Moving on from the matchups, I know we talked a lot about the initial matchups that could happen within the match, but we can't forget about these other players that didn't get as much development, but they could prove to be very valuable throughout this match.
One of the players that we're looking at and keeping an eye on is going to be Nanase. Maybe he has a huge link-up play coming up.
Not much is known about Nanase's potential. We know he mainly has just been linking up and helping the team just continually attack, but what if something awakens within him? We know he was able to keep up with players like Ren and Isagi before the NEL even started. Through PXG, he earned a spot in the starting lineup. Maybe he'll have an awakening within himself, and we could see something special from from Nanase. He very much gives off a perfect shadow in the sense where he could probably link up with almost anyone. It'll be interesting to see how he grows in this match.
There's also Choppa that we need to keep an eye on. Will he play a big role in this match? There were early speculations of him playing a key role in the team, especially against Ubers in their first match.
Choppa is a big question mark as well. We still don't know what he's capable of, but since he got that early panel against Italy's Ubers, I'm assuming he's very talented. I'm assuming he's an intelligent playmaker, and he's going to continue to expand PXG's attack and maybe even shut down some players. Imagine Choppa just doing like a sliding tackle on like Kunigami. That'd be crazy.
That would definitely be crazy out of nowhere, but I mean, that's the thing with Choppa. He's kind of like an anomaly here, and he could definitely do something big in this matchup.
Oh, for sure. You can't sleep on these players like Nanase and Choppa. They could do something amazing. We're not going to get into too much detail about the other defenders from PXG since we didn't get too much hype about them, but they do play for PXG, so they can't be slouches. And moving on, let's talk about some of the Bastard Munchen hidden weapons. The two biggest names that come to mind are definitely Kurina and Yukimiya. They already started in previous matchups, and they're definitely going to play a factor. It'll be interesting to see what substitution Noah makes. We'd love to see Yukimiya go back in the left wing position, get Grim out of there, honestly. Like, Grim sucks. And I would love to see Hiori step in the midfield, like I said earlier, Kurina get on the flank, and then just have Kiyora and Kurina just run up both flanks, just tear people apart. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I would imagine Noah's probably not going to keep Grim out for too long, but maybe he was cooking something, you know?
Yeah, let's just wait and see. But speaking of other players on the bench, like we said, the Monk is definitely going to have a role at some moment in this match. He's gotten way too much foreshadowing and way too much hype in the pre-match build-up. And I feel the same way about Neru, the former U20 defender. Just because he's known to be a good defender and being very fast, PXG is built around speed, so maybe he's going to help Kira and Kurina shut down Zantetsu as well. Either way, I think he deserves some time to play because he's been thrown off on the side for way too long, and his capabilities are very useful.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. And honestly, I'm just surprised to see that the Monk is even still here and we're having conversations about him. But honestly, maybe we get a Monk masterclass.
Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. This will definitely be, without a doubt, the best match in the NEL. This is the finals. They're going to want to become the champions and earn the top spot within the Japan U20 team. That being said, let's do our final match predictions. I predict that this will be a 3-2 win to Bastard Munchen. We'll get a goal from Isagi and Hiori linking up. Kaiser and Ness will definitely link up, and I think Kunigami will score the winning goal. It'll be through Isagi's assist. It'll be similar to how Isagi and Kunigami linked up back in the FC Barca match.
My final match prediction, I'm going to go 3-2 with PXG winning. I have Ren scoring 2 goals and Shido getting 1 goal. And I think Ren's going to get the final goal in this match.
That would be insane. Imagine Isagi loses to Ren every single time.
It's got to happen, in my opinion. I think Ren is just that guy.
Fair enough. We made our cases on how either team can come up top as the champions of the NEL, but what do you think of this match? Who do you think is going to win and become the champions of the Neo Egoist League? Bastard Munchen or PXG?
Definitely let us know in the comments.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And please don't forget about the community Discord as well. And thank you for sticking to the end. It's Tev.
And it's Ludus.
Peace.
Catch you in the next one.